Well, guys, we have finally made it to the last week of the regular season in high school football in the state of Alabama. This is the last week of the regular season where we will have a full slate of games. Next week starts the playoffs. Spanish Fort is hosting a first-round game. If they win, they go to Pike Road, and they'll have to play against Pike Road, who they lost to last year. But today, we still have high school games, regardless of if Spanish Forts are off tonight or not. But we're going to go down, predict the list of games like we usually do in our last series. And I think once we're done with high school sports sometime in January, we're going to start up a Madden series where we play as every team in the game. So what we're going to do is do an all 32 list and just mark them off the list as we go down. Hopefully that's something you guys would enjoy. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Really quickly, I want to mention the Pelicans comeback before we start this video, because last night, that was an insanely huge comeback for the New Orleans Pelicans. I only watched the second half. We were down 23 points at halftime, and we came back to win 110 to 106. It was a great comeback. Now, what I want to really talk about is Atlanta United. MLS, you need to get your rest right, because they completely screwed the game over for us last night. Last night, there was a penalty in the box that shouldn't have been a penalty. That really pissed me off so bad. And then they scored, converting that. And then a clear foul in the box from the refs, from Columbus Crew, and they don't even call it. So, MLS, get your refs straight. They have an important matchup tonight, or next week, though, in Mercedes-Benz. So, hopefully, Atlanta United fans, you guys will show up and show out, which is what I'm doing as well. And there's Loki episode 5 tonight. It's going to be an important episode for tonight for the series. This is going to be a longer intro than normal, but it's going to be very, very important for the series going forward and for the finale of next week's episode. So that's tonight as well. Also, big congratulations to the Texas Rangers. As much as I hate to say it, because I am a Houston Astros fan and a Braves fan, but congratulations. You guys totally deserve this World Series. It was a great run that you guys had, even though you bought the team kind of like the Los Angeles Rams did. You still bought the team, but you got the job done and got a World Series, which is what matters. But all that aside, today we're going to talk about high school picks, and I know this intro is getting a little bit longer, so we're going to end it and go ahead and start talking about these high school football games that are coming tonight and tomorrow night. All right, so the first game on the schedule, that is St. Luke's taking on Cottage Hill Christian. I'm going to go Cottage Hill Christian here. I want to say they're the better team. Either they're 0-6 or they're really good. I can't remember which one, but I expect them to get the win against St. Luke's. St. Luke's isn't very good either, so therefore, Cottage Hill Christian is going to get the win. The next game is Jackson taking on Davidson. Jackson is ranked 23rd in the state. They're in the top 25 this week, so there is that for you right there. By the way, Spanish Fort also made it in the top 25 state rankings this week, so congratulations to the boys over in Toros, Cole McConaughey, Sterling Dixon, Caleb, all of you guys, congratulations. But Jackson is going to win this game on the road against Davidson. Davidson still has something to play for the playoffs, though, as they are getting set to take on Jackson tonight, but I think they're the better team here, and they're going to prevail tonight. The next game, we're going to do all the Thursday games in this segment. The next game is UMS Wright taking on Williamson. I'm actually going UMS here. I know it's on the road at Williamson tonight, but UMS needs to win this game if they want to position themselves to get in a playoff spot, if they want that playoff. They're going to have to hope that Viger can lose tonight if they want that playoff berth, because they're going to really, really need this win tonight. But I am expecting the UMS Wright Bulldogs to get the win with Terry Curtis and bounce back from that loss last week. Now, the last game tonight is Lanier and Viger. And I'm going to be honest, I have no idea who Lanier is. So I'm going to go with Viger here. As much as I hate it for the UMS Wright Bulldogs, I'm going to still go Viger here because they're really, really good this year. And their record doesn't show it, but they can put up points offensively, and I think that's going to happen tonight against Lanier. So, to recap, Cottage Hill Christian gets the win tonight. Davidson also gets a win tonight. Williamson gets a win, or UMS Wright gets a win, rather, and Viger all getting wins on Thursday night, which is tonight. Moving on, we're going to predict the next 4 games because really, there's nothing to really talk about during these next 4 games. But TR Miller taking on WS Neal. Have no idea who this team is, so therefore I'm going with T.R. Miller and trusting my gut that the local team will get it done on the road. The next game is Blount and Murphy, and once again, this is going to be a terrible matchup. This is like the Broncos versus the Jets, or the Jets versus the Giants that happened last week. We'll put it like that. Therefore, I'm taking Blount here. I actually think the Blount Leopards are the better team in this one based off how Murphy looked last week against the Toros. I'm taking Blount, and Blount can actually play really good competitively. They played competitive in a couple of their games, but I'm taking Blount here on the road against Murphy in Lad Peoples Stadium. The next game is Foley and Jackson Olin, and I have no idea who Jackson Olin is, but Foley coming off of a loss to Daphne. So, therefore, I expect them to bounce back, but I do not think they are in the mix for the playoff. Once again, wide receiver Perry Thompson has no chance at making it to state unless they win this game, and therefore, I think Foley's going to win this game, but I still don't think they're going to get in the top 4 to host a region game, and we'll see about that tomorrow night when the brackets come out, but I am expecting Foley to get the win on the road at Jackson Olin after that bounce back against Daphne. And speaking of Daphne, the next game is Daphne taking on Hillcrest, and I believe that Daphne is actually going to get a road victory on Hillcrest, and I believe if Daphne wins, they will host a first-round playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they're third in 6A or 7A Region 1 right now, so if they can win against Hillcrest, then they could potentially bump up to the second seed, and I believe they're neck and neck with the other team in there with the same record, so they could potentially bump up, and I think that's what's going to happen. Daphne's quarterback is really, really good. He has a couple D1 offers already, so their quarterback is really solid. I like Daphne's defense as well. Their defense, not necessarily their corners, but overall, defensively, they're not that bad, and when they play on point, they can get it done, and I think Daphne is going to be getting it done against Hillcrest. So just to recap all of this, T.R. Miller, Blount, Foley, and Daphne, all road teams getting wins on the road. It's just how I see it happening because, again, I don't know much about these other teams, but if I did, I'm sure I would be picking the other teams. However, this is how I see it going down. Let's move on to the next couple of games. Moving on to the next game, you have Saraland taking on McGill. Guys, this one's going to be a complete blowout from Saraland, and I wouldn't be shocked if Saraland rests their starters for the playoffs next week. They are the number 1 seed going into this thing. They're basically the Kansas City Chiefs of the AFC, whatever you want to put it like that. They're a really, really good team, and they are the number 1 seed in 6A right now. I believe they're 9-0, and they're looking for that perfect record season to go heading into playoffs, and I would be shocked if they don't start their starters, or if they sit their starters midway through the second half, because McGill, on the other hand, is not really that good, and I don't think that they're playing for a playoff. I could be wrong, but they're already locked in as the 4 seed, I believe, so they can't move anything else, so I think McGill may rest some of their starters for the playoffs as well. However, I'm going Saraland here. Even with their starters not playing, it's still going to be Saraland. Saraland's got it this year. They're going to make it to state and win state. We'll talk about that once the playoff bracket releases. But Saraland is going to win this game. Now, the next game is BC Rain taking on Gulf Shores. And, guys, come on now. Gulf Shores is 9-0. They are number 1 in 5A Region 1. They have been accused of cheating all this season. I think they're silencing that out and going to get the win tonight as well against BC Rain. Now, that being said, what I want to hit on is the Gulf Shores stuff, because the Gulf Shores stuff has been happening, and if the AHASA does, in fact, remove their season, then they can't get into the playoffs. They're already region champs, though, but I'm curious as to how that's going to play in effect once the playoffs start, if everyone just moves up a seed, and that's why I'm picking UMS right to win this game, because, again, they could still have something to play for. It's all about the AHSAA making that decision on whether or not to convert or to forfeit Gulf Shores' season. But recap, Saraland gets the win, Gulf Shores gets the win, and we're going to talk about a big, big game coming up next within 6A Region 1. All right, moving on to the next game, and like I said, a very, very important game of the week this week. St. Paul's hosting Theodore. Theodore, number 3 in the region at 5-2. St. Paul's number 4 in the region at 4-2. So this game has a lot of implications based off of playoff seeding. Now, if St. Paul's does in fact get the win, then they will be bumped up, and I believe they will have the 3rd shot. You don't want to go into the playoffs being the number 4 seed and playing that number 1 team in 6A Region 4 or 6A Region 4, 6A Region 2, whatever it is. You don't want to play that top seed in the region because that top seed is usually really, really good. Like I've been saying, St. Paul's, however, most likely going to win this game. Theodore has turned it around with their quarterback. After that Spanish Fort loss, they started a new quarterback and have gotten things back on track. However, St. Paul's overall is 7-2, 4-2 in region play. So I'm expecting St. Paul's to get the win. They've beaten some out-of-region opponents that are really, really solid. And I'm expecting the St. Paul Saints to get the win tomorrow night against Theodore at home. And again, it's at home for the Saints. It's all there to lose. And again, you don't want to be that number 4 team heading in the playoffs. Therefore, I think St. Paul's is going to get it and move up a slot for the 3rd seed. All right, moving on, you got the game that I will be attending, and we'll predict these last 4 games in this segment just to get it out the way. That is Briarwood Christian taking on the Fairhope Pirates at Fairhope. So, it's senior night for Fairhope. Fairhope's going to want to get a win. Do I think they're going to get a win? Absolutely not. Briarwood Christian's really, really good. They're going to make the playoffs. I believe they're the number 2 and 3 seed in their region this year. So, therefore, Briarwood's going to get the win on the road. And again, Fairhope sucks. They have 2 wins in their entire year, and they really shouldn't have beaten Spanish Fort during week 1 because of how bad the refs screwed us over. But that being said, Briarwood Christian is going to get the win on the road, even though it's senior night for Fairhope. I'm sure they're going to play their hearts out. It's their last game, seniors' last game, because they're not making playoffs this year. But they're the better team. The next game is Bayside Academy and Alabama Christian Academy, whoever that is. I'm going Bayside here. I just think that the local teams, once again, my gut tells me to go with every local team this week as they all have something to play for with playoff positioning and stuff like that. I'm taking Bayside here on the road. Not sure if Bayside's going to make the playoffs, though. The next game is Faith Academy and LaFleur, and this is a very, very interesting 5A Region 1 matchup to watch. Faith just beat UMS Wright. I believe if they win this game, they will be bumped up to the 2 seed in that region. So a lot of implications here for playoff seeding during this game, and Faith riding high off of a couple of wins. LaFleur, on the other hand, not so sure about them, but I would take Faith here in this game. I think Faith Academy's going to get the job done against LaFleur, and they will be that 2nd seed in that region. I really like Faith Academy's team this year. They're really good offensively and defensively. They've pretty much a complete team this year, and I think they got what it takes to beat LaFleur, and I think they will come Friday night and move up to that 2nd place spot in the region. Now, the last game is always the fun game to watch. Who is the worst team, Baldwin County or Robertsdale? Baldwin County has been hanging in everywhere with a lot of games. They hung in with Spanish Fort, St. Paul's, Theodore. They beat Blunt, so they've beaten a couple of these teams, and they beaten Murphy as well. However, Robertsdale, on the other hand, hasn't beaten anybody. That being said, I'm taking Baldwin County here on the road in Robertsdale. I just think that's going to happen. This is always the toilet bowl in and around the area, I guess you would say, because how bad it is. But I'm taking Baldwin County here because they're the better team. Neither team's going to make the playoffs, so this is their playoff game. This is their state championship game. But Baldwin County's going to get the win on the road against Robertsdale just because of how bad Robertsdale is. All right, and that's going to do it for this series in the regular season. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that being said, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. What I'm watching tonight, Loki, episode 5. There's the Pelicans play tonight. I'm sure there's some NBA games on as well. I just haven't looked at the schedule. Baseball season is officially over. With that being said, we're going to head into basketball season once we're done with the high school games. And that's what we're going to do on Thursday to get ready for the Friday and the weekend picks is what we're going to move towards on Thursday. And hopefully, once again, that Madden series. So, with that being said, I'm going to hop off. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, let me know if you've been enjoying this series so far in the comments down below. I know I have. We took a couple of weeks off during the regular season because of how busy we were. But we're back, ready to predict the playoffs next week as Spanish Fort is taking on Bessemer City and then Pike Road. So, that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.